Good morning and welcome back, students, to another virtual session for the subject of economics of chapter number 4. Today we'll be learning about the topic law of supply. Law of supply is a fundamental principle of economic theory which states that keeping other factors constant, an increase in price results in an increase in quantity supplied. So, there is a direct relationship between price and the quantities. The quantities respond in the same direction as price changes. That is, when the prices go up, the quantities supply will increase, and when the prices are down or fall, then the quantity supplied will be less in the market. So, it is rightly said that they both go in the same direction. The law of supply says that a higher price will induce the producers to supply a higher quantity to the market because business seeks to increase their revenue or profit, and when they expect to receive a higher price, they will produce more, and when the prices starts falling, they will take back their supply, or the supply in the market for that particular commodity will be less because otherwise they can't earn the revenues. Now there are certain assumptions on which the law of supply rests. There are several factors that affect the supply of a good. As we have earlier seen, the factors that affect are the price. The other factors include the cost of production, the technological changes, the future expectations, etc. Now let us look into the important assumptions of law of supply. The very first one is that assumption is that the prices of the factors of production will remain constant. That is, there won't be any change in the factors. The second one is that there is no change in the prevalent state of technology. That means that whatever technology is being used to produce for that particular commodity will not change. It will remain the same. There won't be any improvement, so the production won't increase, or there won't be any other changes that happen. The level of competitions, that is the number of sellers in the market, will also remain the same. There won't be any other competitor who will be entering into the market or any other benefits that they would be providing to the customers. The expectations about the price of the commodity is that they would be remain same. That is, they will be constant. There won't be any changes in the price in the future prices of that particular commodity. And the other factors like the government policies, the transportation, the natural factors that affect the supply will also remain constant. So as we had learned assumptions of law of demand, same way over here also the assumption states that apart from price, all other assumptions, all other factors that affect the supply will remain constant or will not change. Now let us look into the next topic, that is a schedule. Now as we had seen the demand schedule, same way we will be seeing the supply schedule also. In the demand schedule, we had seen how a consumer's willingness to buy the particular commodity at different prices was shown in that schedule. Same way over here in the supply schedule, we will be seeing the diagrammatic representation of sellers to sell a good at various prices, and when you represent that is called the supply schedule. Now you can see a hypothetical, that is an imaginative example that is shown on the screen, that shows the prices of supply and the supply of apples. Prices of apples and the supply of apples. Now you can see as and when the prices go on increasing, the supply of apples in the market will also increase, and therefore we can see an upward trend of the supply curve. Just let us see that example. At price 50, the supply is 200. When it moves on to 70, the supply increases to 600. When the prices move from 70 to 90, the supply expands to 1000. So you can see the point A shows the plotting of 50 and 200. The point B shows the plotting of 60 and 400. As you move further to point E, it denotes that at price 90, the supply of apples is 1000. So the SS shows the supply curve, and it is a positive slope because it is seen to be moving upward. Now coming down to the relationship between price and supply, There are two reasons why, due to which there is a positive relationship between price and supply. The very first one is that the sellers want that the profit should be maximized, and so as and when the prices will rise, there is a possibility of earning more profits, due to which they supply more at higher prices. So that is the first reason why we see a positive relationship between price and supply. Now the second reason is, as and when the price will rise, the producers who were earlier not selling their stocks because of low prices will start selling more in the market. So here also you can see, when the prices rise, the supply of stock, because of new sellers coming into the market, the supply of stock of that particular commodity will increase. So these are the two reasons why the price and supply have a positive relationship between both of them, and as and when the price will increase or as and when the price will rise, the supply will expand in the market, and vice versa, when price will fall, there will be contraction in the supply. The next topic is about change in supply. Now, as we had seen in the demand chapter, the determinants of supply are same way categorized into two parts. The first one is the price, and the second one is the other factors. The other factors, as I said, discussed earlier, would include the cost of production, would include the level of technology, the future expectations regarding prices, and the other factors which affect, that is the political stability, the natural conditions, law and order, etc., etc. Now, here we assume that when we talk about expansion and contraction and increase and decrease, we'll assume that one factor will remain constant and the other will change. Now, let us look into the very first one, that is expansion and contraction of supply. Now, when we talk about expansion and contraction of supply, we have to remember that the assumption is that other factors will remain constant over here, and there will be change in the prices, due to which the supply will change. Again, I am repeating my sentence. That is, when the other factors are assumed to remain constant and the price varies, then there is an expansion and contraction of supply. Now let us look into the diagrammatic representation, which shows on the supply curve the expansion and the contraction of supply. Now here you can see that the same hypothetical example has been taken, which was used to explain to you the supply schedule. Now here you see the prices of apples is 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And you can see that the supply has expanded to 200, 400, 600, 800 and to 1000. Now in the diagrammatic representation, if you take point A, it shows that at price 70, the supply was 600 kgs. Now when the price reduced to 50, that is from 70 it falls to 50, then automatically the supply of apples has contracted to 200. So you can see the contraction curve over here, which shows the movement from A to B. Now in the same manner, when the movement is from A to C, we can see that the prices have risen from 70 to 90, and so has the supply of apples also expanded from 600 to 1000 kg. So the movement from A to C on the supply curve shows the expansion, and the movement from A to B on the supply curve shows the contraction of the supply. So you can see that both expansion and contraction are shown on the same supply curve. There is no need to prepare different curves for it. I hope this is clear to you. Moving on to the further topic, that is increase and decrease in supply. Now, as stated earlier, for expansion contraction, the price varies and the other factors remain constant. Whereas in increase and decrease in supply, there is a change in one factor or some other factors, but apart from price. Here, the price factor will remain constant, and so you can see a rightward and an upward shift in the supply curve in order to denote the increase and decrease in supply. Now, how does this curve show? If the factors which affect the supply change against the supply, then at the same price the supply will decrease, and the entire supply curve, you can see which shifts from to the left. That is, if you take the example over here, the hypothetical example, you can see the prices of apples are constant over here because the assumption for increase and decrease is that prices won't change. But if you take the point A over here, that is at price 20, the supply of apples is 300. Now, if there is a change in the other factors due to which you can see that there is a shift from A to B, that is a movement from A to B, shows that the supply in the market has fallen from 300 to 100 because the other factors changed against the supply. So that shows a decrease in the supply, and the curve will shift from, that is to the left, that is from A to B. So the movement from A to B on the same supply curve shows decrease. Taking the other factors change in favor of that particular commodity. So say at same price 20, the supply has increased from 300 to 500 units. So you can see that the movement from A to C shows an increase in the supply of the commodity. Now, give you further example, what happens when the cost of production will rise automatically, the price of that particular factors of production will rise, the technology will become expensive, and so these are the things which move against the supply. So you see a decrease in the supply of that particular commodity, and when the same changes, supposing if the cost of production falls down, the technology becomes cheaper, the government policies, they change in favor of the particular product, then the supply of that particular product will increase in the market, and that shift is a rightward shift from point A to point C. So again, A to B shows the decrease and A to C shows an increase in the supply. You can see that there is a horizontal line at point 20 because the price of the commodity which is shown on y-axis remains same in increase and decrease in supply, whereas you could see an upward and downward shift in expansion contraction because here the other factors remain constant and there was a change in the price. So you have to remember, for expansion contraction, the other factors remain constant, price varies. For increase and decrease, the price remain constant and one or the other factors will change in favor or against the supply of that particular commodity. So with that, we complete off till changes in supply topic, that is 4.8. In our next session, we'll be looking into the last two topics, that is exceptions to the law of supply and the price determination in the market. Thank you.